What is Rwanda? Well, Rwanda is a country in Central Africa, and it is a country that has had a bad history full of violence, and some of it is due to European colonialism of that region. Now, in the 1800s, Rwanda was first colonized by Germany, and in Rwanda there are two ethnic groups called the Tutsi and the Hutu. The Tutsi are more skinnier and taller, while the Hutu are more shorter and chubbier. Prior to colonization, Hutu people were typically farmers, while Tutsis were cattle herders. And the Tutsi were always the minority, and the Hutu were always the majority. Now, Rwanda was originally colonized by Germany, but then when Germany invaded Belgium during World War I, the Belgians decided to take over Rwanda as well. Then Belgium almost completely pushed the Germans out, and when Germany lost World War I, Belgium was given Rwanda by the League of Nations in 1916, and they colonized Rwanda from 1916 to 1962. Now, what are some pros and cons for Belgium colonizing Rwanda? Well, there were not many pros for Belgium other than the extra land and whatever resources Rwanda had. But a big con was a lot of men died trying to get the land from Germany. And now, pros and cons from Rwanda. Well, basically, there were no pros, only cons. However, Belgium did not physically treat the Rwandans poorly. It was when the Belgians came and they let the Tutsi control Rwanda. They sort of put them in charge. The Belgians separated the two and gave Tutsis more power and just overall more everything. And the Tutsi were just favored over the Hutu. They gave the Tutsi Hutu land, and the Hutu was subjected to forced labor with the Tutsis supervising them. Then, when the Belgians left in 1962 and Rwanda got their independence, the Hutu hate for the Tutsis went off the charts. Overall, if it were not for the Belgians, the Hutu and Tutsi war would probably never have happened. Then we come to 1994, where the infamous Rwandan genocide happened. During this time, over 1 million Rwandans were killed, who were mostly Tutsi. The Hutu had been revolting for years over the torment the Belgians and the Tutsis had done to them. Then, when Tutsis wanted to sign a peace treaty with the president of Rwanda at the time, Juvenal Habyarimana, he was assassinated before the peace treaty, and the Hutu accused Tutsi rebels. Then, once that happened, the genocide started, and for almost 100 days, 1 million Rwandans that were mostly Tutsi were killed. Now, did the Belgians affect the development of Rwanda? The short answer is absolutely they did. If it weren't for the Belgians favoring the Tutsi, then genocide would never have happened, and neither would they have hated each other so much. And without their little civil war, they could have come together and made their country better. However, they have started now, and they now forgive and forget the genocide and move on to make their country the best it can be so the genocide isn't their only reputation. So, in conclusion, Rwandans are finally in peace, but they would not have had this terrible history if it wasn't for the Belgians.